I will, I shall. The grind never sleeps. I can, I will, I shall, because the grind never sleeps.
You already know what it is, Real Talk Radio with your host G.
Before you even think about locks and keys, you have to have a house. This is just now personal development before relationship, because you find yourself at the brink of going through someone's phone. Where were you? Why weren't you answering your phone? You're with someone, weren't you? Take time. Don't be quick. It's not a one-day process. It's actually a continuous process. How can you trust that the relationship will work if you don't trust that this is the best version of yourself? Because the house or the building looks run down, it attracted that particular type of crowd. Relationships have some financial implications to them. We cannot avoid that fact. How dare you try facilitate a relationship with your parents' money? Why aren't you developing yourself so you can be a better person for the right person? We are good people damaging good people. How can you let someone in your house when your house is not finished? Check if you're not damaged, or check if you're not giving the impression that you're damaged. If you're not aware that you're damaged, you might be causing the relationship to fail. And like anything in life, a house needs maintenance.
What's good, my good people? What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? What's good? You already know what it is. Real Talk Radio with your host G, and we're back. We're back. We're back. We're back. We're back. It's a Friday. You already know what it is. Relationship Rehab Fridays, and we're back for part 2 of the Lock and Key. Obviously, part 1 was last week. And by the looks of things, people quite enjoyed it. You guys quite enjoyed the analogy of Zlok and Zaki. So please do stay tuned for part 2 as Libo expands on this analogy and just, kind of just digresses slightly away from the lock and key and presents a new analogy of a house. And yeah, guys, I hope you guys enjoy. But also, before we continue, guys, before we get straight into business, please do hit me up on the socials at Real Talk Radio WG if you have any questions, any comments you'd like to make regarding the lock and key as presented by Libo. And on the 23rd, I'd like to have a listeners engagement. So if you want to be part of that, please do. I've also left a link if you want to leave a voice message of your comment, and it shall be part of next week's episode. So please do engage. Let me know your thoughts. Any questions you have, any comments, definitely do drop by and leave them. And all in all, I hope you enjoy this episode of The Lock and Key.
That's just the topic of the lock and key, and there's obviously going to be more in the book. I don't want to obviously reveal too much, but there's another topic that I want to touch on with the lock and key scenario, is that after a failed relationship, there are two possibilities. Well, actually, more than two, but these are the two main ones. The person is either aware that they're damaged or unaware, right? Now, a person who's aware that they're damaged and continue to try facilitate relationships is the person begging for failure. They are
Mm.
aware they're not right. And what they usually do to compensate for the fact that they're not aware they're not right, they'll go into the next relationship and literally say something like, um, this person did this to me in the last relationship. Don't do that. No, no, no. I'm not insecure. This person, the last person, did that to me. So yeah, no, no, no. I don't have communication problems. I'm just affected by what happened in my last relation. Because
Yeah. To find
they
excuses.
find excuses and they'll always use what happened in their previous relationship.
Mm.
That person is damaged and they're aware that they're damaged and they're using it to their advantage,
Mm.
because now there's not the other individual cannot put high expectations on them,
Mm.
because now they're seeing them as someone that's damaged, right? And that's not
Mm-hmm.
fair. No healthy relationship is going to come from that.
Mm.
And then there's someone who's unaware that they're damaged. These are the poor souls, because they get affected the most. So you're not aware that you're damaged, and then you go into a relationship, or you're trying to facilitate a relationship with someone else, and
Mm-hmm.
you just you're just not yourself anymore. You find yourself at the brink of going through someone's phone, or you get irritated by the smallest of things. Now, we have to understand that we were born to be human, not perfect.
Yeah.
Every individual that you engage with is going to have some issue or problem. They are not perfect. Now, relationship is not about um, having the perfect life and always laughing and always being happy. It's about finding someone that you willing to go through the difficult times with, but also see progression with those within those difficult times, and it leads to you guys being positive assets within each other's life.
Mm.
It does not mean there won't be difficulties. It does not mean there won't be challenges. But now, if you're not aware, going back to my point, if you're not aware that you're damaged, you might be causing the relationship to fail, but you don't know where it's coming from. I'll give you an example. If 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 I was cheated on and I left that and I started something else, and the other individual goes somewhere and they honestly forget to charge their phone. Their phone goes off. I'm trying to call them. I can't get to
Mm-hmm.
them. Voicemail. So they eventually get back to their place or wherever they charge their phone. And I am just going off. Where were you? Why weren't you answering your phone? You're with someone, weren't you? You know? And
Yeah. The insecurities start to come
yeah,
out.
they start to come out. But I'm not even aware that I'm damaged from the previous relationship.
Mm.
And you find that the other person's like, why are you making this such a big deal? I went to get like something from the shops. My phone was not charged. It switched off. I couldn't, like, I wasn't getting your calls. And you are just going off because they don't see the severity of the issue. Because
Mm.
now you're not judging it by what's happened. You have things that happened in the past that are now fueling the fire. And
Yeah.
let's just say your previous partner also treated big issues as it was just a joke or it was not that serious. Now you
Mm.
getting triggered.
Yeah.
And you're not aware. And that's how the relationship fails. But here's a deeper one. And you know, I, I'm really trying to speak to the young ladies here, because ladies month, I'm just going to be honest with you, is that there are predators out there. They are predators out there who are looking and hunting for people who are damaged. Now you have to understand, I was explaining earlier on, If you're damaged, your lock is damaged. If your lock is damaged, it's very easy to enter your life.
mm,
They're not there for anything good. They're there for a good time and a short time. They in, get what they want, and leave. I've heard men say, we want the ones with the low self esteem because they literally are easier to influence. These people know what to say and know what to do. And being damaged and unaware that you are damaged puts you in a very, very vulnerable position.
mm,
That is why in the book, and now I keep on saying, introspect, introspect, introspect. Check yourself. Am I okay? Take time. Don't be quick. It's not a one-day process. It's actually a continuous process because even when you
mm.
believe that you're ready to facilitate another relationship, you have to be introspecting while going into the next relationship
Yeah.
because you need to show make sure. Again, another good friend of mine said this once. um they were like, you are not in control of what the other person does, sorry, or says, or how they behave. So I was asking them, um how do you know the other person won't cheat on you? He's like, I don't know. It's not my place to know.
Yeah.
I need to make sure that I won't cheat.
Mm,
I need to trust myself. If I trust my how how can I trust the other person that they won't cheat if I can't even trust myself?
yeah.
That hit hard. People don't understand how deep that is. How can you trust that your relationship will work if you don't trust that you're giving the best version of yourself?
Yeah.
Take that into consideration. How can you trust that the relationship will work if you don't trust that this is the best version of yourself? You're
Mm,
already putting the relationship in a tricky situation by you not being the best person that you can be in that particular given time and situation.
yeah.
And to me, that was crazy. That was crazy. I was like, wow, geez, trust yourself and just make sure that you're ready, you're not damaged.
Mm,
And yeah, I think that's about um the the summary of the lock and key. The book goes into more detail. It gives more examples and everything. But yeah, even having this conversation with you right now is just sort of, making me realize how I should sort of structure the conversation in the book, because the book is structured like as a conversation to someone.
yeah.
But I remember when you first proposed me coming on relationship rehab, and I told you that I was having difficulty sort of picking the topic and picking title and everything.
Mm,
And that's due to the how my book was written. Personally, when I started writing, I started with the lock and key, right?
mm-hmm.
And as I was writing, I realized there was a whole chapter before the lock and key, and that was the chapter of the house, right?
Okay.
And that's what made me confused on whether I should speak about the house or whether I should speak about the lock and key. But I chose the lock and key because I'd written quite a bit on it. Um, but my perspective, now this is to the younger generation. I know this might sound crazy, but I do not believe that we are honestly ready for relationships.
Mm,
And I have my reasons. I'm not saying everyone. And like I said, it's just my perspective, the people that I've met personally. And that's because of what I call the house. Before you even think about locks and keys, you have to have a house, right?
Mhm.
Now, when you're building a house, the doors and the windows are the last things you put on the house.
Yeah.
They first has to be a structure, right? And even when you put the doors and the windows, which is like the lock, your life, there has to be furniture within the house. So now I had to tweak the analogy whereby someone coming into your life or coming into a relationship with you is you coming to live with you in this house that you've created. And this house now incorporates you yourself and your environment, right?
Mhm.
The issue is that we are so quick to want people to enter our house when we are not even finished building.
Mm.
There's this guy, this humorous guy who's all over social media, and whenever they ask him questions about relationship, he's always asking, "Do you have money?" Let's start there. And as much as it's a joke, relationships have some financial implications to them. We cannot avoid that fact. It might not be financial implications in the sense of I'm buying you something, but if you live on the other side of town and I need to commute to get to you, I'm not going to fly on the Holy Spirit. It's that simple. If I need to communicate with you over, some social media platform, video calls for 3 hours, uh, data is not falling out of the sky. Now, I'm talking about the bare minimum. We as people love to associate ourselves with things that we believe look good, feel good, sound good, smell good. And a friend of mine, close friend of mine, Kulu, who's been on the podcast, we were speaking the other time um, about I think his topic was like how good guys never win, or girls, how girls don't want good guys. And
Mm.
after the podcast, and before, we're having this conversation on his whole ideology and concept on that, and even the type of guys that they want. Like now we're using the criteria that I was mentioning earlier. They expect you to dress a certain way just to even be considered. Now, garments, again, they do not fall out of the sky, you know? And
Mm.
we literally find ourselves in a society whereby I need to buy you something materialistic for you to believe that I care about you. I need to take you out to like a restaurant for you to believe that I care about you. And sometimes it's not even because of what you think, but it's because you're waiting from approval from your friends, or you're waiting approval. Oh, look at what they got me, or look at where they took me. Oh, he's so cute. Look, everything has financial implications,
Mm.
which sort of supports my statement of, are we even ready to be in a relationship? But let me not take out the financial implications of a relationship. Are you even financially stable to sustain yourself? How dare you try facilitate a relationship with your parents' money? That's just a personal view. I'm not saying there's something wrong to be in a relationship and, you don't have money. But I'm saying Isn't there something better you could be doing? Like, no, no, no. Honestly, like I said, I'm not fighting with anyone. Why aren't you developing yourself so you can be a better person for the right person? I don't know if I'm making sense.
Mm.
Why don't you develop yourself to be a better person for the right person? Now, some people are like, no, but you can get someone that you can build with, they can support your vision. This is true. Like I'm saying, all I'm saying, it's not a right or wrong thing. It's more of people are not taking enough time to develop themselves. Like, just, okay, let's move away from finances because people are quite touchy about the subjects. Have you worked on your communication skills? Have you? Have you thought about your future? Have you thought about what you want to do? What about the thing? Now, you have to understand we are in South Africa, which puts us in a very peculiar position because people that look like me and you, G, which is black people, are mostly at a disadvantage. So, what are you doing to correct the the issues of the past within your family? Again, it's all about, I'm not fighting with anyone. This is just now personal development before relationship, because sometimes, oh geez, I might be going in too deep. Sometimes you can find the right person at the right time and you guys try something, but you are affected by the things that are going on at home and that affects your relationship.
Mm.
Have you sorted out your problems at home? Have you taken time to sort out problems at home? Let's just leave problems from other relationships. Problems at home first. How can you let someone in your house when your house is not finished? I don't know if I'm making sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Some people have abusive parents and they haven't gotten over that. And now they're trying to facilitate relationships with other people.
Mm.
There's people with who had abusive parents. Now I'm going to talk for male. There are males who had abusive parents, and that's all they know. That's all they learned, and they became abusive in those relationships. Now it's not good enough from them. They should have taken time to deal with those issues before even letting people into their lives. They are a danger to society. They are women who had abusive family members or have been abused within their family who have not addressed those issues. And those people are trying to go out there and facilitate relationships. How? When your house is not complete or your house is broken.
Mm.
Like, I'm just saying that as the young generation, I know I hate people who say this, but there is a bit of time. And if there isn't, maybe then it wasn't meant to be. Honestly speaking. Because, G, if we keep going out and hurting the people that we care about, like how we're doing now, by the time that we are ready to go into relationships and hopefully build families, we'll just be so damaged that the little that we do achieve will believe like are the biggest things in the world. And that scares me. And that's why I wrote this book.
Mm.
We are good people damaging good people. Sometimes we're aware and sometimes we're not aware. Sometimes it's due to the environment, which is the house. But just to, you know, wrap things up and move away from that. And I'm now going to speak to my sisters. Since, it's Women's Month that we're recording, it might be released a bit later, but we just came out of Women's Month. Let me put it like that. Jeez. Sometimes your house can be complete, right?
mm,
And you let someone in your house. Now, I'm going to treat this person like a tenant. So they've entered the house. If this person damages the house, right?
mm,
Then you decide to evict them, kick them out of your life, end the relationship. You need to fix the damaged house before you let the next person in. This is very important because the next person, like there's a few factors. The next person can enter that house, see that it's damaged, and leave.
mhm.
That might have been the right person, but the house was damaged. No one
Yeah.
is willing to stay in a damaged house. The second thing, which is if this one really really hurts me, is that if you take a look at rundown buildings, whether it's in town or anywhere, they attract a particular type of crowd.
Mm,
You're either going to get homeless people, God bless their souls, or people who are on the streets for other reasons. Maybe they are drug addicts and or prostitutes or whatever the case. Again, God bless all of their souls. But those people do not care about the the structure that they're in. To them, it only serves a purpose. Because the house or the building looks run down, it attracted that particular type of crowd. I
mm,
mentioned this earlier about the key and the lock. Now I'm using the house. A broken woman attracts a particular type of man. Not all the time, but
mm,
this man can be like those homeless people, like those drug addicts. They there because it's a means to an end. Once it's not useful to them, they just leave it. They'll tear it down even more because it's damaged. I did not want to make this example, but if men, not all, believe that a woman is loose or easy, they go for her. Means to an end. Run down building, damaged. Those tenants are there on a temporary basis. And it's not the same people. They're always changing, new people.
mm,
Relating this back to relationships, you could have someone, I'm speaking specifically to females now. You feel like there's a lot of guys entering and leaving like you, and you don't understand what's going on. Take time, introspect. There's something wrong. Check if you're not damaged, or check if you're not giving the impression that you're damaged due to other influences. Because the most painful thing is that there's only a few people in life, from my experience and my perspective, that you will meet that will be willing to help you recover or willing to help you rebuild. Most
mm.
will use the facilities, and when they felt like their needs are satisfied, they will leave because at the end of the day, the building is damaged. And that's what hurts me the most. That's why I always emphasize have standards and make them really high. Don't do it for them, do it for yourself. It's just the same concept as building your key. Reinforce your house. Choose the people that are allowed into your house specifically. Like, have a very intricate criteria. And before they say, I support this hashtag or saying that it will end in tears, for those that do manage to facilitate relationship, and this is my last point, if people want to hear more, I want to see this podcast blow up. I want to see my friend G, like I want you guys inboxing her and telling her you want to hear some more. If not, if I don't, like, seriously, if I don't see people blowing up this podcast, I will not share more information. But this is my last point. This is my last point. For those that have managed to go into relationships, you guys are living within this house, right? And like anything in life, a house needs maintenance because over time there's going to be wear and tear. Relationships need maintenance. And in a relationship, you must make sure that you address small issues before they become problems. Same as a
mm,
house. So if your house has a leaking roof, like a small leak, drop, drop, drop. If you don't fix that leak and there's a great storm that comes, you're gonna have a bigger problem when the ceiling collapses, right?
yeah.
This is the same as relationships. If your partner is doing something that you don't like, or there's something within the relationship that you don't like, just like the drop of water from the ceiling, address it while it's still a small issue and get past it. Because just like the house that experiences heavy rain, your relationship will experience big challenges. And if you had not addressed the small issues, they will compound. Like the roof that was like growing, like the weaknesses were growing because of the small droplets, same as your relationship. Now, when you get angry, you sort of pull back all these other issues that you've been having, and they compound into this big problem. You always don't talk to me. You always this. You disrespect me. This. You did not address those issues while they were still small issues, and now they're a big problem. And I can tell you right now, if the ceiling collapses in the house, that house is either getting demolished or you need lots and lots and lots of effort and money to rebuild. Just like how your relationship, you put that relationship in ICU when you have a major problem, which is a compound of smaller issues. Because now you can't just fix one problem, you have to fix like 50 different issues.
mm,
And that's what I'm saying. That's my last point to the people that have been fortunate enough to facilitate healthy relationships. Fix your small issues. Talk. That's the way you start. Communicate with your partner. Tell them what you like. Tell them what you don't like. And I promise you now, that is the quickest way to figure out where things are going. And that's my last point on the topic. I don't want to go too long. If you guys want to hear more, and I promise you now, I've barely scratched 2 chapters in my book. There's about 13 of them. I get deep. This is just to get you enticed. Blow up my friend's podcast. I want to see it everywhere on all socials, YouTube, everything. I want to see you guys just in the comments, sort of just telling her we need this guy back. And I promise you, if you guys want me back, I'll have something completely different to blow your mind. And I guess the only thing that's left to say is that you already know who it is. You already know what time it is. The grind never sleeps.
Well, thank you for that. Very, well, I'd say it's quite in depth. I'd say, obviously, you saying you barely scratched the surface, but I think you did provide some extremely insightful points, a lot for people to think about. And I think the one thing that really stood out for me, and it's something that I try to do as well in my own personal life, not just for relationships, is this whole thing of introspection. Because I don't think you can ever know yourself enough because
Yeah.
you're constantly evolving and developing as a human being, as a person. So introspection is very key. So yeah, no, a lot of points that you shared there, and I hope the good people have taken something from it, something, a point of reflection that they can just use to develop themselves and develop the way they approach relationships. So thank you for joining me and gracing us with your presence.
Yeah, no, thank you again. Thank you for even just providing this platform for people just to speak out. I know not a lot of people might say it, but we're listening and we are grateful.
And that brings us to the end of this episode of Relationship Rehab Fridays, The Lock and the Keep Part 2. I hope you guys have thoroughly enjoyed listening to the past two episodes. I hope you guys gained some interesting perspectives, interesting point of views, points of reflection and introspection that you guys can use when approaching your own personal relationships in life.